3 torn hamstrings in 1 season. Gabriel Magalhaes is out for the season. We'll get right into it by reading the statement that Arsenal put out this afternoon. Further to being substituted during our match against Fulham on Tuesday, we can confirm Gabriel Magalhaes has sustained a hamstring injury, which requires surgery. Gabby will undergo a surgical repair procedure to his hamstring in the coming days and immediately begin his recovery and rehabilitation program with the aim to be ready for the start of next season. Everyone at the club will be fully focused on supporting Gabby to ensure he is back to full fitness as soon as possible. And of course we will. And look, this is gutting for Gabrielle at such a crucial point of the season. I think any player would dream of playing Champions League nights at the Bernabeu. And he's going to miss out on that. But not just that, the entire rest of the season. I'm sure there are international games that he's going to miss out on as well. And we have to acknowledge that this is not normal. To have lost Gabrielle to a hamstring injury that requires surgery, Kai Havertz to a hamstring injury that requires surgery, Bukayo Saka to a hamstring injury that requires surgery, Gabriel Martinelli to a significant hamstring injury that didn't quite require surgery. That's either exceptionally bad luck or there is something more underneath it. And I do worry that there is something going on. And look, these players have played a lot of minutes, not just this season, over the last 2-3 seasons. All of them have played a lot of minutes. They play with a real level of intensity. You know, you look at Martinelli straight back in for Arsenal against Fulham. You can see, relative to other players, the intensity he plays with. Have we taken it for granted? Maybe. Do we need to focus on making sure this doesn't happen again? Definitely. Now, with the Gabrielle one, maybe that one is bad luck. Do you know what? You know, it was early in the game. He'd not had much to do. It was the first time he'd probably had to sprint in the game, and he sees Adama Traore running away from him, and he tries to catch up, and he overextends himself, and he tears his hamstring. But it's an absolute nightmare. Going into the Madrid games, it's a nightmare. Of course it is. In terms of the recovery time, if he was to recover, and bear in mind, Bukayo Saka's recovery was pretty much as good as it can go. If he was to recover in the same period of time that Bukayo Saka did, he'd be looking at recovering mid to late July. That would be in time to join the team on the preseason tour. Any longer than that, and it's felt that Kai Havertz is going to be longer than that, you're looking at then eating into the start of next season. You know, maybe recovering just before the season starts, but then he's not going to come in and start games right off the bat. So this is a significant injury. It's the sort of injury you also don't know if they are going to fully recover from. I've heard a lot of that with Saka. I think the surgeries, the medicine is a lot more progressed these days to the point where I do think he will recover fully. But it's just a nightmare for him. And obviously going into the Madrid game now, you look at it, what do you do? Ben White, we don't actually know how fit he's going to be. There was speculation today, or the general feeling today is that Jurriën Timber is going to be okay, that he's just got a knock. But that's another knock. He's carried a lot of them this season, by the way, and he's played through a lot of them because Ben White and Tomiyasu have been out. So you're looking at him playing at right back, I'd assume, and then probably Jakub Kiwior. Because, and I don't know where this real kind of doom and gloom about Kiwior has come from. Don't get me wrong. It is by no means ideal that we're going to have to play Jakub Kiwior probably instead of Gabrielle. But I still think that's a better option than Ben White. I'm looking at Ben White. It's a player that I'm not convinced is but he's definitely not fully fit because he wasn't even fit enough to be in the squad against Fulham. He doesn't look like he's been fully fit ever since he's returned from that injury. We've not used him as if he's been fully fit since he came back from that injury in terms of the lack of minutes he's had. He's played 100 minutes since November. He's not fully fit. Is that someone that you want to throw in against Real Madrid? And people will say, yeah, but that's still better than Jakub Kiwior. I don't think it is. Jakub Kiwior is fully fit. He's trained fine all season. When he's come in, to be honest, like the majority of times he comes in for like one game completely out of the blue, like left back or right centre back, which are not his best positions. And yeah, he makes mistakes and he looks shaky, but the only time this season he played consecutive games at left centre-back was in December when Gabrielle had that hamstring strain. And by the way, who knows if that had an impact on this latest injury. But when he played those games, it was United, Fulham, Monaco, conceded 1 goal in 3 games. Generally speaking, looked fine. I remember after the United game, the timeline was loving him. He had a big embrace with Gabrielle at the end of that game. The timeline was loving him. He made a mistake against Fulham that allowed them to score. It wasn't just on him. I thought Saliba could have done more for that goal as well, but it was his mistake to allow Jimenez in. But, you know, I think he's the best chance we've got. I do. And we just have to pray that he doesn't make a mistake. It is a nightmare. I really hope that Gabrielle recovers. I really hope he's fine for the start of next season. When you combine it, obviously, with like the Calafiori injury as well, the timing of that is an absolute nightmare. But it's the situation we're in. It's the situation we've been given. Real Madrid have got their own issues. Ferland Mendy's a doubt. Dani Ceballos is a doubt. Rudiger is potentially a doubt with that suspension for the celebration thing. We'll find that out tomorrow. Courtois is an injury doubt. They've also got Tchouaméni suspended. They've got a couple of players, one booking away from suspension for the second leg. So it's not all plain sailing for them either. But this is arguably our player of the season so far that is now out for the rest of the season. So it is a massive blow. A shorter video, this one, just a little update. If you could subscribe to the channel, if you could like the video, I would be incredibly grateful. There is going to be another video out today comparing Victor Gyökeres and Benjamin Sesko. So keep an eye out for that one. The streams are going to be returning soon. We're going to be live tonight for Chelsea versus Tottenham Hotspur watch along on Big Up. The link to Big Up is down in the description below. And we'll also be live on Twitch later on after that for the return of Warzone Verdansk. So lots going on. I appreciate the support on yesterday's video. We're getting back on the horse and I'm enjoying it. So enjoy the rest of your evening. Try not to mourn Gabrielle too much. Enjoy the rest of the content I put out and have a good one. Goodbye.